So in the last one, we spoke about the 6 steps to massive results for a business, right? And these are the 6 steps. We start with mastery, go to niche, look at leverage, build the team, and then which results in actually building the synergy and getting the results that the business owner actually desires from his business, right? And in the last one, we touched upon the first one, which is mastery. So it is all about building a commercial enterprise. How do you master the basics of business? And like we promised, today we will be talking about the next steps. In the mastery piece, in the last session, Coach Ratish spoke about these 4 areas. Just refreshing, as some of you might be joining again for this session, we spoke about destination, money, time, and delivery. Those are the 4 areas that we look at when we talk about mastery. So today we will be talking about niche, right? And through building a niche, how can you actually have a predictable cash flow? So niche, as far as Action Coach is concerned, is simply put, no price competition. And I'll share as to, through some of the concepts, is how do we actually reach to this stage of no price competition, which again would lead to what we are talking about, the end result, having a pipeline of a predictable cash flow. So when we talk about no price competition, there are 2 important concepts that we talk about. First one is a unique selling proposition, right? Most of us have heard about it. So this is something which was coined way back in 1961 by Bruiser Reeves. And he said that the proposition must be one that competitors either cannot or they do not offer, right? That is what a USP is all about. And through some of the examples, I'll talk a little bit more about it. Okay, what are the benefits? Now, of course, there are multiple benefits. I have tried to just capture a few of them. So each time any specific claim is made, a uniqueness as compared to the competitors is actually created in the minds of the consumer that we are wanting to target, right? So it is all about specificity in marketing and advertising, which actually, relates to the USP. And it actually enables the organization or the brand product to stand out from the market, right? So some of the benefits. One quick case study just to put the content into perspective. So if you take an example of a company like Gillette, which manufactures shaving soaps. Before this company came into being, it was being advertised as that the product has abundant lather, it doesn't dry on the face, acts very quickly. But this new company which came into the play talked about very specific facts which actually captured the market. They spoke about multiplies itself in lather 250 times, right? Things like it softens the beard in 1 minute, maintains the creamy fullness for 10 minutes on the face. So things like that, which are very, very specific and unique to that particular product and company, and which was perhaps never in advertising that there has been a quicker and greater success that this company actually enjoyed. And this is, mind you, a very competitive, hyper competitive field, right? Some more examples I'll share with all of you a little later. But some of you might be thinking that, Abhimanyu, I offer the exactly same services or products as my competitors. So how can I create a USP, right? So there are a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself. First, that have we done enough of market research or competitor analysis? Look at what your competitors are doing, right? When we talk about USP, look at their brochures, their websites, the business office or the business outlet, what kind of marketing material, sales noise, sales material that they are talking about, which will give you some hints as to what is the USP they are talking about. The second piece that we need to look at, once you've done this first one, that now we need to look within. So we need to do a self-analysis, also ask from the customer that what is it that, is there anything unique that we are offering which the competitors are not offering, right? And is there any process that we are doing better than our competitors, right? So a couple of questions just to provoke your thought and to move you in a direction of looking at USP. Some quick examples. I won't spend too much of time on this, but just to give you some hint as to what the other companies are doing. So Heads and Shoulders, the USP, you get rid of dandruff. You look at Red Bull, you get stimulation of body and mind. You look at Domino's Pizza, something which each of us is consuming, or most of us, have consumed sometime, that you get fresh hot pizza delivered to your doorstep in 30 minutes or less, right? And believe me, this USP alone is worth, as per some research data which is available, is worth more than $1 billion for Domino's Pizza. That is the kind of power. And you see the kind of competition which is there in this industry, right? And when we think about Domino's Pizza, this USP, clearly puts them apart compared to their competitors. Two more, talking about the real estate industry. What is the pain? People want to sell their house fast without losing money on the deal. They want to make profit. And the USP, a 20-step marketing system will sell your house in less than 45 days at full market value. To look at competitors, need to look within and also seek feedback from competitors, do our market research, and ensure that we come out with our own USP. Some more examples. So it is there in almost every industry. I think I've made my point that having a unique proposition is extremely important for your business. Talking about the types of USP, it could be perceived USP, where in customers' perception there is a difference or there is a uniqueness. That is one. Second is where the USP is actually there in your product or service. And third one is a created USP. Of course, you can use your marketing and other material, wherein if actually there is no difference, but still you can create one, talking about perhaps how you could deliver your products and services. For example, in case of Domino's Pizza. Another important thing when we talk about niche is to balance the customer acquisition cost versus what we call the lifetime value of the customer, right? Very important concept. When we look at advertising, it is an investment. We need to ensure that we are constantly testing and measuring and ensuring that the acquisition cost is within a certain range and we are not going overboard. And we can change, edit, or withdraw certain campaigns if something is not working or the acquisition cost is going too high. So we should consider, of course, you need to look at your own industry. What is the lifetime value of the customer in your industry versus the customer acquisition costs? Again, something where each one of us needs to invest and dig deeper. Coming to the second important topic that I was wanting to share with all of you is the guarantee. Very, very important in today's scenario. You would see a lot of businesses actually passing on guarantees against their product or services. What is the advantage and why it is required? When we look at the buying journey of a customer or the customer experience, there are a lot of risks that the customer perceives when they are looking to buy a product or a service, which actually stops or slows down the process because this risk perception is very high. Now, these risks could include, the fear of making a wrong decision, losing money, not receiving the kind of value against what we paid for. So these are some of the risks. And let us look at what is the advantage offering a guarantee. How can we ensure that we lessen this perceived risk and ensure that the sale is done? The guarantee is actually lowers the barriers that prevents people from doing business with you. Till now, we've spoken about two important areas, a unique selling proposition and guarantee. These two concepts in themselves are not enough to ensure we have a predictable cash flow like you were talking about. Okay, so what is it? Now I'll talk about a very, very important concept model that is there with Action Coach, which is the 5 ways model, right? Now, when we talk about the 5 ways model, in your experience, or in even in our experience, what do you think the entrepreneurs most focus on when we talk about a business? The business owners most of the time are focusing upon customers, sales, and profit, isn't it? But is that the right focus to have, or there is another way to actually think about this? Actually, these are the outcomes that we are looking at, right? But the levers are something else. The first lever is leads. The second lever is conversion percentage. The third lever is the average ticket size. The fourth one is number of transactions that we are doing. And the last one, the fifth lever, is percentage of the margin. In very simple terms, you have certain number of leads coming into the business. You multiply that by your conversion rate, which leads you to the number of customers that you have. Now, those number of customers, you multiply by the average ticket size of each transaction and how many transactions you are doing, which will actually lead you to the sales figure, which is your revenue, right? And then comes the bottom line, what we call. You multiply the revenue by the percentage, margin percentage, which will take you to profit. Now, let us look at a little deeper as to how these levers impact the cash flow, the sales and profit that we're looking at. Now, tell me, as an entrepreneur, what would be your sequence of priority of these 5 levers? So what I mean is that if out of these 5, which is leads, conversion percentage, average ticket price, number of transactions, and margin percentage, which is the thing you feel that as a business owner you would want to attack first? Feel free to put it in the chat box. So the first one is the margin percentage, right? And I'll share why the order of priority, not very difficult to understand actually. The biggest impact that you'll have is the percentage of the margin that you can have in a transaction. Second one you would look at is the conversion percentage. Some of you must be thinking counterintuitive, right? Third one is average ticket rate or average ticket size, number of transactions. And in fact, I know what some of you must be thinking, that the leads is actually the last in terms of order of priority. Why? Because acquiring new leads is very, very costly, right? Compared to working on increasing the margin percentage or conversion or average ticket rate or the number of transactions, which are primarily with somebody who's already with you. Let's also look at some numbers. By putting in numbers, I think while I'm sharing this, I will request that you pull up your pen and papers and start writing in your own numbers for your business, right? As I'm sharing this. So please write down, first of all, how many number of leads that you are getting in your business. Second, what is the conversion rate? If you do not know the exact conversion rate, it is good to pick up a ballpark number as of now, and you can always update that later on, right? Now, in this example, I am taking 4,000 leads. So this business is getting 4,000 leads multiplied by 25% conversion rate. So 1 in every 4 we are converting. How many customers? 1,000, right? 4,000 multiplied by 25%. Now, look at in your business, what is the average size of transaction and what is the number of transactions which are happening? Average ticket size, Now you might have multiple product baskets, take an average figure for now, just for the sake of calculation. What is the average sale and how many times a customer is buying from you. Again, in this example, if you're taking number of transactions as 2 with each of these customers in a year, an average sale is 100 rupees. What is the revenue? It is 2 lakhs, right? Multiply this revenue by the profit margin that you have, and which leads you to your profits, right? Very important for you to work with your business numbers as I'm sharing this example. In this profit margin, now I've taken a ballpark 25%. Certain businesses could be as low as 5%, as high as 50% or more. Take the profit margin percentage of your particular business. Imagine if we increase each of these levers that I spoke about, through a lot of tools and techniques that we have, by introducing of new tools and techniques. If we are able to impact this and increase it by 10%, what is the impact it has on the revenue and the profit percentage? Again, whatever numbers you have written, if you written your own business numbers, I will take an example which I have on the slides, right? So increasing the leads by 10% for 4,400. Conversion rate goes up to 27.5%, right? And so if you multiply that, number of customers, suddenly goes to 1,210. Now just see that we are making a change in the 5 levers which are highlighted in blue. The outcomes highlighted in red, customers, revenue, and profit. Those are the outcomes. So now looking at number of transactions, again 10%, so it goes to 2.2. I have taken as an example, and average ticket size goes up to 110 rupees. Now revenue goes to 2,92,820. Look at your own numbers, friends, as I'm sharing, and when you multiply this by the profit margin, again increased by 10%, 27.5%. The profit goes to more than 80,500. So friends, just by increasing 10% in each of these levers, actually what are you ending up with? You are ending up with a 46% increase in your revenue and more than 61% increase in the profits, right? And how do we help you doing that? We have more than 350 different strategies to help you on all these 5 levers that I spoke about. We will talk more about this later. So how can we as business coaches help business owners? So we help you identify which is the best strategy for your business that you need to implement. We'll work with you in ensuring that we implement that. We constantly test and measure, so we are not just leaving it as it is. We go back and if needed, make a change. Once we identify the strategy, we also help you put together an actionable plan so that we are able to execute it well. Testing and measuring, like I mentioned, which helps you pivot quickly as and when necessary. And the last thing is that we hold the business owner accountable throughout this process. So right from looking at the strategy, action plan, testing and measuring, changing, ensuring that we are holding the business owners accountable. A great session in store. So we spoke about mastery last time. Today we spoke and tried to touch upon niche and how you can actually build a predictable cash flow. The next one we will be talking about leverage and how do you build efficiency in the system. And we'll be sharing the dates for all of the upcoming sessions with all of you. These are my coordinates. If any of you wants to reach out to us,